Well, our other big story right now on Midday, the unfolding scandal in Albany. Right now, this state Judiciary Committee is in executive session to talk about the impeachment investigation into Governor Andrew Cuomo. That meeting started at 9:30, and there were some public comments before going behind closed doors. Two on your side, Steve Brown is in Albany right now. So, Steve, what happened during that first part of the Judiciary Committee meeting today?
Yeah, there were some brief remarks from the chairman, Charles Levine from Long Island, and he acknowledged the receipt of the materials that made up the Attorney General's report last week, which really kind of caused headlines all over the place. Keep in mind that not only do they get the report, does this committee get the report, but they also get the materials attached. So presumably transcripts of interviews, evidence that supports the conclusions that were in the report. So it's probably a very substantial amount of material that they are now going through. And the committee has its own separate investigation and hired its own legal team, also conducting its review on that. So, and that's just one of several different items that this committee is investigating. Things like the governor's book deal, things like the release of COVID nursing home deaths and the manipulation of that data. So there still appears to be quite a bit of work to be done by this committee. Melissa?
Yeah, we don't expect it to wrap up anytime soon. Steve, there are no formal articles of impeachment against the governor yet. So when it does come to a timeline, what are we thinking here? How long could it take?
Well, the thing that really jumped out at me in Chairman Levine's remarks before they went into executive session was this. He referenced weeks of work left to be done. Now, he has given the CUOMO legal team at least until Friday at 5 o'clock to submit whatever evidence or documents or things that they want the committee to consider. But when Levine is talking about weeks, now we're talking about perhaps to the end of August, maybe possibly even into September. And if there are articles of impeachment that are passed by this committee, forwarded to the Assembly and passed, then that begins a window for the state Senate President, Andrea Stewart Cousins, to dictate a time in which that trial, an impeachment trial would start. That by law has to be between 30 and 60 days. So right now we're taking a look at the very earliest a trial in this scenario could happen is very late September into October, and we have no clear idea how long that trial could last.
All right, and Steve, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about that big breaking news from overnight. The governor's top aide, Melissa DeRosa, suddenly resigning from the administration. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, from all of the COVID briefings, I mean, she was almost regularly right at his side. Her title was secretary to the governor, widely considered the governor's top advisor, a person who rose from communications director to chief of staff to secretary, and she's been in that post for 4 years. But she was named 187 times in the Attorney General's report last week, and in a number of unflattering ways, including some pushback on some of the accusers' public stories about sexual abuse at the hands of Governor Cuomo. She resigned late yesterday. You can draw whatever conclusion you like about what that particularly means for the governor, but the governor's office and his current communications, chief of communications, Richard Azzopardi, no communication from them this morning. I reached out both last night and this morning.
All right, Steve Brown reporting live for us from Albany this morning. We'll hear from you again coming up on Channel 2 News First at 5. Steve, thank you.